first zeroth element, what you require is you need to shift so all the elements starting from the index value 1 to 999. Okay, so that it is a time consuming process. So another disadvantage of array is that allocating a more memory than the requirement leads to the wastage of memory space. Say for example, in the beginning, you are going to decide how much of memory space is required for your applications. Say for example, for your application, suppose say you assume that in the beginning you require 1000 memory location. During runtime, you may not require all the 1000 memory location for your applications, so that leads to the wastage of the memories. Okay, these are the some of the disadvantage of the arrays. Coming to the application of arrays, you know that these arrays are used to store elements which belongs to the same data type. That is the first application. Second one is it maintains multiple variable names using a same name. So arrays helps to maintain large data under single variable name. This avoids the confusion of using a multiple variables. You don't require to remember the many variables. Say for example, if you are going to deal with say 5000 elements, in the sense that you don't require to remember all 5000 variable names. So next application of this arrays is that arrays can be used for sorting data elements. So you can use these arrays for sorting the data elements. So different sorting techniques are there. I think you might have come across some of these sorting techniques like bubble sort, insertion sort, selection sort, etc. So these use arrays to store and sort the element easily. So next application of arrays is that arrays can be used for performing matrix or for operations. So many databases, small and large, and consist of one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays whose elements are nothing but the records. And the next application of the array is that arrays can be used for CPU scheduling, and finally arrays are also used to implement other data structure like stacks, queues, heaps, hash tables, and etc. Then coming to the linked list. Linked list also has some of the advantages and as well as the disadvantages. Just now look at first look at the some of the advantages of linked list. So in case of a linked list, the size of the linked list is not fixed, so that they can expand and shrink during runtime. So as like in the arrays, you don't require to fix the size of the linked list. The size of the linked list can able to grow or can able to shrink during the runtime. In case of linked list, depending upon the requirements, you are going to create a node. Either you are going to add the node at the beginning or at the end or at the desired position. And it is also possible to delete the elements dynamically, so that you don't require to put a size restrictions in case of the linked list. So that is one of the advantages. And the second advantage is that insertion and deletion operations are fast and easier in linked list. As I have given the example for the arrays, if you have 1000 elements, if you wanted to delete the 0th element, so that you need to do 999 shift operations. So it is a time consuming operation. But whereas in case of a linked list, you can able to delete a desired node, okay, without shifting any other nodes. You need to make a changes in the link field. As you know that in case of linked list, we have a combination of the nodes. These nodes have a data field and as well as the link field. This is the example for the single linked list node. Okay, this link field is used to hold the address of the next node. It is required to change only the link values in case of the linked list, so that you don't require to do the lot of operation compared to the arrays, so that insertion and deletions are faster compared to the arrays in case of linked list. And third advantage of linked list is that memory allocation is done during runtime. As I said, in case of arrays, you need to declare the array in the beginning of the program itself. You don't know, you cannot able to predict how much of memory space is required during the runtime. But approximately you are going to declare the array size so that the created array will be used during runtime. So you may be fully utilizing all the memory locations, or you may be using only the few locations. But in case of linked list, so dynamic memory because of the dynamic memory allocations, so we can able to avoid the wastage of memory. So this was it was in the arrays, so that dynamically you can able to create a node and you can able to add it to the existing linked list, or it is possible for you to delete the node dynamically, so that you can able to utilize the memory in efficient ways. And the last advantage of linked list is that say data structures like stacks, queues and trees, these data structure can be easily implemented by using the linked list compared to the arrays. Even though the linked list has lot of advantages, still it has some of the disadvantages. The first disadvantage is that memory consumption is more in linked list when compared to the arrays. Why? Because each node contains a pointer in linked list and it requires extra space. If you look at the nodes of the linked list, we have the link field. So this link field is going to make some amount of memory for holding the address. This is nothing but the extra burden on the memory due to the link field. The second disadvantage is that in case of linked list, elements cannot be accessed at random. So that if you wanted to access any of the elements which is a part of the existing linked list, you need to traverse in sequentially. Okay, that is the one of the disadvantage, so that it is a time consuming process. And also another last disadvantage of single linked list is that traversing from reverse is not possible in single linked list. See, yeah, you studied about the double linked list and say single linked list. In case of single linked list, we have a data field and have the link field. Always the link field in the single linked list is used to hold the address of the next node. Suppose if you are if you are standing at the nth node and if you wanted to come back to the first node, it is not at all possible in case of the single linked list. Okay, so it allows only the traversing in the forward direction. So reverse traversing or backward traversing is not possible in case of the single linked list. So some of the applications of the linked list are linked list can be used to implement the linear data structures like stacks, queues, and also nonlinear data structure like trees. Second application is linked list can be used to implement graphs. Linked list can be used to implement hash tables. Okay, these are some of the application of the linked list. Next, coming to the trees. A tree is a hierarchical data structure defined as a collection of nodes. So node represents values and nodes are connected by edges. A tree has the following properties. The first property is that a tree has one node called a root node. If you look at this one, okay, this is the first node. This first node of the tree is called as a root node. The tree originates from this node and hence it does not have any parent to it. The second property is that each node has one parent. but can have multiple children. If you look at the B as a parent A, but it can have a multiple children. So that is say E and F. If you look at the parent node F, this has 3 childs. That is nothing but I, J, and as well as the K. So each node is connected to its children via edges. So this is called as an edge. It's a line which connects the parent to the child is called as an edge here. As I already told that a tree is nothing but a non-linear data structure, and compared to the arrays and linked list, stacks and queues, which are linear data structure. Why it is called they are called as a linear data structure means all the data elements are stored in the linear fashion. But whereas in case of trees, okay, we are going to represent all the data elements in the hierarchical manner. So similar to the linked list, in tree data structure also, every individual element is called by a name called node. Node in a tree data structure stores the actual data of that particular element, and also it has a some field which is used to hold the address of the next element in the hierarchical structure. As I already told that, say for example, if you look at the node for a double linked list, it has a data field and it has a to link field. These kind of nodes are used for creating the trees over there. In general, in a given for a given tree data structure, if there are n number of nodes, then we can have a maximum of n minus one number of links. Okay, mean that if there are n number of nodes, okay, so that you can easily calculate the number of links in the binary tree, and that is equivalent to n minus 1. So n minus 1 will give you the number of links in the binary tree. This is an example for the binary. So it's not a binary tree, it's a general tree. If you look at this tree, we have a first node. This first node is called as a root node. Okay, this root node is having a left child and as well as the right child. They are nothing but B and as well as the C. This B and C are called as an children of a parent node A. Similarly, if you look at the node B, the node B has 3 childs. They are nothing but D, E, and as well as the F, and so on. So this way, you can able to the tree, a node in a tree can have any number of the children. So what are the advantages of the trees? Okay, some of the advantages of the trees are nothing but it is used to store information that naturally forms a hierarchy. Say for example, if you look at the file system on a computer, so that where all the files will be stored in a particular hierarchy. Second one is that trees provide moderate access or search. I mean that they are quicker than the linked list and slower than the arrays. So trees provide moderate insertion and deletions. Means that the tree is quicker than arrays and slower than the unordered linked list. So like linked list and unlike arrays, trees do not have an upper limit on number of nodes, as nodes are linked using the pointers. So means that the number of nodes can able to increase to any maximum values. So these are some of the application of the tree data structures. The tree data structure is used to manipulate the hierarchical data. It is used to search the given data elements quickly compared to the other data structures, and it is used to manipulate sorted list of data items as a workflow for compositing digital images for visual effects and routing algorithm, and it also used for to form a multi-stage decision making. So that is like you can able to take the example of business chess. Okay, so these are some of the application of the tree data structures. Before going to the discuss about these trees, you need to remember some of the terminologies which we are going to use. The first terminology is nothing but a root. Root is nothing but a special node in any given tree. The entire tree originates from it. It does not have a parents. So every tree must have a root node. So we can say that root node is the origin of a tree data structure. If you look at this particular example, the first node A is called as a root node here in this case. Okay, all the nodes are originated from this particular the node itself. The second one is nothing but an edge. Edge is a connection between one node to another node. In other way, we can define edge as it is a line between two nodes or a node and as well as the leaf. As I already told, in a given tree, if there are n number of nodes, there will be maximum of n minus 1 number of edges. If you look at this one, a connection between the node, between the any given nodes is called as an edge. Say for example, between the A and C, we have a connection part. This is called as an edge. Okay. So and also each and every nodes are connected by using these edges. Say for example, the line between the I and as well as the E is called as an example of edges. Okay. So these are all nothing but the edges. If you look at this, this particular tree has n number of nodes. So n in the sense in this case, n is nothing but 11. So that we can able to identify or calculate the number of links in this particular tree, that is calculated as n is link is equal to n minus 1, that is 11 minus 1 is equal to 10. Okay, there are 10 links are there in the given example. The next terminology is nothing but the parent node. A parent node is an immediate predecessor of a node. Or you can define this one as the node which is predecessor of any node is called as a parent node, and parent node can also be defined this way: a node which has child and as well as child or children, mean that any node with at least one child is called as a parent node. If you look at this particular example, A, B, C are nothing but the parent node. A is nothing but the parents of children B and as well as the C. Similarly, B is nothing but the parent of the node E and so on. So in generally, parent node is an immediate predecessor of the node. Terminology is nothing but the child. All immediate successors of a node are called its children. Mean that the node which is a descendant of any node is called as child node. If you look at this here, the B and C are nothing but the child nodes. Okay, so the parents of B and C is nothing but A. Similarly, I and J are the children of E. So E is the parent of I and J and so on like that. The next terminology which we are going to use is nothing but the siblings. So the siblings can be defined in a simple way. In the following way, we can able to define the siblings. It is nothing but a sibling is nothing but a node with the same parent. Say for example, if you look at this one, the B and C, these B and C are said to be siblings because they belong to the same parent node, that is nothing but a node. A is the parent of B and C. Similarly, if you look at D, E, F, these D, E, F nodes are called as siblings because they have a same parents, that is nothing but the B. B becomes the parent node of the child D, E, and as well as the F. So the next, the terminology is nothing but the leaf. In simple way, we can define the leaf node this way. The node which does not have any child is called as a leaf node. In a tree data structure, these leaf nodes are also called by the other name. They are nothing but the external node, or we can call those as an terminal nodes. So the leaf nodes are also called as an external node or terminal node, mean that the node which do not have any child is called as a leaf node. If you look at this here, I and J are the children of the node E, but I and J does not have any child, so that I is and J are treated as a leaf node. Similarly, if you look at this part, the K is nothing but the child of G, so that it does not have any child, so that it is a leaf node. Similarly, H is also a leaf node. D and F also have a also treated as a leaf node here. If you look at the D, E, F, D, E, F are nothing but the children of B. But the child E has two children, so that E is nothing but a parent of I and J. So that D and F does not have any children, so that D, E, F are treated as a leaf node. So in this example, D, I, J, F, K and H are called as an leaf nodes. So the other names for leaf node is nothing but external nodes, or you can call it by another word, that is nothing but the terminal nodes. So next we have internal nodes. So in a tree data structure, the node which has at least one child is called as an internal node. Okay, any node with at least one child is called as an internal node. Okay, so nodes other than the leaf nodes, we can generally say that the nodes other than the leaf nodes are called as an internal nodes. So these internal nodes are also called as a non-terminal nodes, whereas leaf nodes are called as terminal nodes because those nodes does not have any child, but whereas internal nodes have at least one child. If you look at this particular example, if you look at the node B, the C, E and G, these are all called as an internal nodes. But since A is a root node, B, E, C and G are nothing but the internal nodes. Since A is, even though the A is treated as a root node, since it has two children, so that A can also be treated as one of the internal node. But this is the special node. Okay, it is called by a name, special name, that is nothing but a root. So if you look at B and E, and if you look at C and G, okay, so these are all nothing but the internal node because the G as a child, that is nothing but K. If you look at the E as a child I and as well as the J, and D, F and H, they are not the internal nodes because they are treated as an leaf nodes here. Okay, they do not have any the child. Mean that in case of tree data structure, any node with at least one child is called as an internal node. Next, the term is nothing but the degree. The degree of a node represents the number of children of a node. Means that the total number of children of a node is called as an degree of that node. And the highest degree of a node among all the nodes in a tree is called as a degree of the tree. I mean that for any given tree, the whichever node has a highest degree, that is nothing but the degree of the tree. Say for example, in this case, we have a nodes, okay, B. the degree of B is nothing but 3 because the number of children for the node B is nothing but 3, 1, 2 and 3. So that we can say that the degree of B is 3. If you look at the C, the degree of C is nothing but 2 because it has 2 childs. C, they are nothing but G and H, 1 and as well as 2. Similarly, the degree of G is nothing but 1 only because it has only one child. Degree of E is nothing but 2 because it has a 2 child, that is nothing but they are nothing but I and as well as the J. Okay. So if you look at this particular example here, that the node B has more number of children, so that the degree of B is nothing but 3. The degree of B is nothing but 3. So we can say that the degree of tree is also 3 here. The degree of tree is nothing but the highest degree of a node among all the nodes. The highest degree of a node among all the nodes in this particular example is nothing but 3. That is nothing but a B node. So that the degree of a tree for this particular example is nothing but 3. And similarly, if you look at the any leaf node, okay, say for example, we have a leaf node that is nothing but L, I, J, F, K and as well the H. Okay, the degree of these all the leaf node is equals to the 0 because they do not have any the children. The next terminology is nothing but the level. Level of a node represents the generation of a node. If the root node is at level 0, then its next child is at level 1. Similarly, its grandchild is at level 2 and so on. Look at this here. If the root node, here in this case the root node is A. If this root node is at level 0, then its next child, which are the next child in this example? The B and C, these two are the next child of A. So they belongs to the level 1. And the grandchilds of A belongs to the next level, that is nothing but the level 2. So that is nothing but D, E, F, G and H. They are the grandchild of the A. They belongs to the level 2 and so on. Okay. So in case of tree data structure, the root node is always said to be at level 0, and the children of the root node are at the level 1, and the children of the nodes which are at the level 1 will be at level 2 and so on. The next term which we are going to use in the tree data structure is nothing but an height. The height of a node represents the number of edges on the longest path between that node and as well as the leaf. So that is nothing but total number of edges from leaf node to a particular node in the longest path is called as an height of the node. And we can able to define the height of the tree this way. The height of the root node is said to be the height of the tree. And if you look at this particular example here, the height of A is nothing but 3. If you look at this, this is nothing but the longest path from the leaf node to the root node. Say if you look at this one, the longest path we have for I, J and as the K. Okay, so that the number of paths to reach from the leaf node I to A is nothing but 3, 1, 2 and as well as the 3. So we are going to reach A through this path, and J through J we can able to reach the A through E and as well as the B. Similarly through the K we can able to reach in this direction. Okay, in all we have a 3 different longest path here, so that in this case the height of the tree is nothing but 3 in this case. Suppose if you wanted to find the height of B, which is the longest path from the leaf node to reach the node B here. Okay, this is nothing but the subtree here we have, so that the leaf node are nothing but I and J. The I and J are going to have a longest path to the B. That is nothing but how many edges we have here? The edge between I and J and the edge between the B and E. Okay, that is 2. So height of B is nothing but 2. Similarly, the height of C is also the 2. Because see, if you look at C here, we have a leaf node K and as well the another leaf node H here. If you are from the leaf node H, the number of edges between the C and H is equals to 1. If you look at this particular path from the leaf node K, the number of edges between these K and C is nothing but 2 here. So that the longest path from the leaf node to reach the C node is nothing but through the node G. Okay, this is the longest path. So that we can say that the height of C is nothing but 2, is not 1. The next terminology we are going to use in the discussion of tree dot structure is nothing but a depth. The depth can be defined like this. It is nothing but the total number of edges from a root node to a particular node. It is nothing but the total number of edges from root node to a particular node, whereas height is nothing but the total number of edges from the leaf node to a particular node. Okay, there should not be any confusion between the height and as well the depth. So in a tree, the total number of edges from the root node to a leaf node in the longest path is said to be depth of the tree. Okay, so this depth of the tree and height of the tree may be same for most of the examples. If you look at this particular example here, we have a tree here, the depth of the root node is nothing but 0. Okay, so suppose if you look at the B node here, so depth is nothing but 1. Okay, depth is nothing but 1. Similarly, if you look at the J here, the number of edges from the root node A to a particular node I is nothing as 3 edges. That is nothing but 1. The second between B and D, and third one is between the B, E and I. Okay, so that we can say that the depth of node I is nothing but 3. This is 3. For J it is 3. For K also 3. For H it is nothing but the 2, and so on like that. Okay. Height, if you look at the height here, height is nothing but total number of edges from root node to a, height is nothing but the total number of edges from leaf node to a particular node in the longest path. Whereas for depth, that it is nothing but the total number of edges from the root node to a particular node. Okay, so that in case of depth we are going downwards, whereas in case of height we are climbing in the upward direction in order to find the height of that node, particular node. Next one is nothing but a path here. It is nothing but the sequence of nodes and edges from one node to the another node is called as a path. Say for example, if you look at this example here, okay, the path between A and as well as the J can be written as A and J can be written as A followed by an edge. There is an edge between the A and B, and as well the edge between the B and D, and edge between the E and J. So that path from A to J can be written as A to B, B to E, and E to J, and so on. And we have a subtree. Subtree can be defined like this: dissidence of a node represents a subtree. Means that you can also define the another way: each child from a node forms a subtree recursively. Every child node will form a subtree on its parent's node. If you look at this particular example, here we have the parent node E. It has a two child, that is nothing but I and J. So that this is going to form a one subtree. The another subtree is nothing but B followed by the three childs, that is D, E, F. This is going to have another the other two child, that is I and J. This also going to form the another subtree, and also this is also called as another subtree. If you want, G and K can also form another subtree. So each child node from a node forms a subtree recursively. Okay, so these are the some of the terminologies we're supposed to remember. So I'm going to stop here. So next class we'll discuss about representation of the binary trees. What are the way we can able to represent the binary trees, and also we are going to deal about the different types of the binary trees. And now the time is 2:54. Your assignments is going to be posted at 3 o'clock, and I wish you all the best for that.
Meeting.
Just a minute, I'm going to download the attendance sheet. Your attendance will be posted in your Teams. Okay, so that is we have a E group, section E and section F. You have to go to your respective teams. So there you will get an assignments, and you try to attempt all the questions. Okay, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, wish you all the best. I'm going to end the meeting. Okay. And I'll be online through the Teams. Okay, if you have any difficulties, okay, you can ask me regarding the post, assignment posting and all those things. Sometimes it may be get delayed. There may be 1 or 2 minutes delay, so that you just wait for that. Okay. Okay, wish you all the best. Okay, so I'm going to end the meeting.